Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Life isn't always pretty. It isn't always easy. In fact, if you're chasing something extraordinary, you'd better expect moments that feel ugly, painful, uncomfortable, and downright overwhelming. And in those moments, most people quit. Most people tap out. Most people say, this is too much, but not you. Not anymore. Because there's a principle that separates the average from the extraordinary, the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the achievers. This, you must embrace the suck. What does that mean? It means you stop running from pain. You stop avoiding discomfort. You stop expecting success to be wrapped in a shiny box with a bow on top. Instead, you lean in, you welcome the grind, the setbacks, the failures, the uncertainty, and even the heartbreak. Because inside the discomfort lies your greatest power. Think about it. Growth never happens when everything feels good. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in the fire. You grow in the pressure. You grow when life tests you so hard that you're ready to collapse. But you don't. You push, you fight, you stretch beyond the limits you once believed were permanent. Every champion, every leader, every person who ever left a mark on this world has lived this truth. They learned to embrace the suck. They weren't stronger, they weren't smarter. They weren't luckier, they just didn't give up when things got hard. They knew that if it was painful, it meant they were moving. If it was uncomfortable, it meant they were alive. If it sucked, it meant they were on the edge of transformation. You see, life is not about eliminating struggle, it's about mastering it. It's about conditioning your mind, your body, your spirit to not just endure pain, but to welcome it as fuel. Because when you embrace the suck, you take back your power. Suddenly, what used to break you now builds you. What used to scare you now strengthens you. What used to stop you now becomes the very reason you keep going. So I ask you, what's the area of your life right now where you've been avoiding the suck? Is it your health? Is it your business? Is it your relationships? Where have you been waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect motivation? There is no perfect time. There are no perfect conditions. Motivation fades. But discipline, grit, resilience, those are forged in the fire of discomfort. So stop running, stop avoiding, stop wishing it were easier, and instead decide right here, right now, that you're going to embrace the suck, that you're going to lean into it with everything you've got, that you're going to smile at the pain and say, thank you. This is what I came for. This is what will make me unstoppable. Because the moment you embrace the suck is the moment you unlock your true strength. The moment you stop being a prisoner of fear, doubt, or weakness. The moment you step into the arena of life fully alive, fully powerful, fully unshakable. So let's make a decision today. No more excuses, no more running, no more waiting. Life is hard, yes. It's messy, yes. It's uncomfortable, yes. But it's also beautiful, rewarding, and worth every ounce of your fight. Embrace the suck. Because inside it lies the greatness you've been searching for all along. When you look at the moments that shaped your life the most, you'll realize they rarely came wrapped in comfort. Growth has never been born in the easy seasons. It has never been born in the days when everything felt smooth, predictable, and safe. Growth comes from tension, from the moments when you felt stretched beyond your limits, from the times when you were forced to do something you didn't feel ready for, from the days when quitting seemed like the more attractive option. Discomfort is not something to run from. It is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It is proof that you are alive and moving towards something greater. Every step into discomfort is a step into a new version of yourself. Think about the body. If you never put your muscles under stress, they never get stronger. If you never push your lungs, if you never expand their capacity, if you never push your limits in the gym, on the track in life, you never unlock the hidden potential inside you. Discomfort is the resistance that forges you into who you are meant to become. The people who never embrace discomfort, who live their lives avoiding anything that feels challenging or unfamiliar, are the ones who remain trapped in the same cycles year after year. They mistake comfort for safety, but comfort is just another word for stagnation. And stagnation slowly kills your dreams, your passion, your spirit. Discomfort is the gateway to growth because it forces you to confront yourself. It strips away the illusions, the excuses, the stories you tell yourself about what you can or cannot do. When you're uncomfortable, you can't fake it, you can't pretend. You have to either rise or retreat. That's why discomfort is so valuable. It reveals who you really are in the moment. It gives you an unfiltered reflection of your inner strength or your inner weakness. And the more you step into it, the more you begin to see that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. Every successful person, every leader, every innovator, every champion has walked through fire that others ran from. They weren't comfortable when they were building. They weren't comfortable when they were pushing past rejection. They weren't comfortable when they were risking failure again and again. But they understood something most people never realize: growth doesn't come without struggle. The discomfort you feel is the price of admission for the life you want. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid discomfort. They design their routines around convenience, their choices around familiarity, their paths around safety. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, why they feel restless, why they feel like something is missing. What's missing is the fire that discomfort brings, the stretching, the expansion, the breaking down and rebuilding that makes you stronger. When you only do what's comfortable, you remain exactly who you are right now. When you step into discomfort, you begin to unlock who you could be. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is paved with discomfort, and there is no shortcut, there is no easy way around it. The only way is through. Discomfort is also the birthplace of confidence. Confidence is not built by standing still, by staying safe, by repeating the same actions over and over. Confidence comes when you step into something new, when you feel unsteady, when you risk falling and then realize you can get back up. The very moments that terrify you are the ones that shape your belief in yourself. Every time you do something you once thought you couldn't, you add another layer of certainty, another brick in the foundation of your self-trust. Confidence is the memory of overcoming discomfort. And the more you embrace it, the more unstoppable you become, because you realize there is nothing you cannot face. Discomfort is also what separates dreamers from doers. It's easy to sit back and visualize the life you want. It's easy to set goals on paper. It's easy to dream about success when you're lying in bed at night. But the moment you take action, the moment you step into the real work, the discomfort shows up. That's when most people retreat back into dreaming, because dreaming is comfortable. Doing is uncomfortable. But doing is where the results lie. Doing is where the transformation happens. Discomfort will always meet you at the border between your old life and your new one. It's the toll booth you have to pass through if you want to cross into the future you desire. So instead of running from discomfort, you must welcome it. You must rewire your mind to see it not as pain, but as progress. You must begin to associate discomfort with growth rather than fear. That pit in your stomach before you take a risk, that uneasiness before you have a difficult conversation, that pressure before you step into a new challenge, those are not signs to stop. They are signs you are exactly where you need to be. Discomfort is your compass. It points you toward the areas of your life that will expand you the most. Every time you feel it, it is life's way of saying, here is your next level. Here is your next opportunity. Here's the place where you can grow. The truth is, nothing extraordinary has ever been achieved in comfort. Every invention, every breakthrough, every revolution, every victory has been born in the space where someone chose to embrace discomfort rather than avoid it. It's not about seeking pain for the sake of pain. It's about understanding that the process of growth will always carry discomfort and choosing to walk through it with courage. Because once you step through it, once you endure it, once you push past it, you never go back to who you were before. You emerge stronger, wiser, tougher, and more capable. And that is why discomfort will always be the gateway to growth. When you think about the strongest people you've ever met, the ones who inspire you, the ones who radiate power and resilience, you can be certain of one thing: they did not become that way by living easy lives. Strength is not born in comfort. Strength is forged in struggle. It's the hard days, the lonely nights, the heartbreak, the rejection, the failures, the pain that shapes someone into a person of true power. Struggle is the training ground for greatness, and without it, no strength is ever developed. Just like a muscle can only grow by tearing and repairing, your character, your mind, your spirit only grow by facing and overcoming obstacles. Every single challenge you have faced has deposited some inside of you that comfort never could. Struggle is what teaches you resilience. It shows you how to get back up after you've been knocked down. It shows you that you can endure more than you thought possible, that you can bend without breaking, that you can survive even when everything feels like it's falling apart. When you look back on the struggles of your life, you will notice that even though they were painful, even though you may have wanted to give up at the time, they gave you a strength and wisdom you would not trade for anything. Without those battles, you would not be who you are today. Without those struggles, you would not have the toughness that allows you to face what lies ahead. Struggle builds strength because it strips you of illusions and forces you to rely on your inner power. In a world where people crave instant gratification, where comfort and ease are glorified, it's easy to forget that everything worth having requires struggle. Success requires struggle. Love requires struggle. Mastery requires struggle. Every dream worth chasing will test you, will push you, will demand that you endure moments that feel unbearable. But that is how you earn it. That is how you become someone who can handle the weight of what you desire. If life gave you everything without struggle, you wouldn't be able to hold on to it because you wouldn't have developed the strength to carry it. Struggle is preparation. It is shaping you, building you, preparing you to handle the blessings and opportunities that are waiting for you. The truth is, struggle is not punishment. It's a gift. It may not feel like it in the moment, but struggle is life's way of building your capacity. Think about fire refining gold. The gold must endure the heat, the pressure, the intensity before it shines in its purest form. Without the fire, the gold remains ordinary, unrefined. You are the same. Without struggle, you remain untested, unshaped, unready. But with struggle, you become refined, resilient, radiant. You develop qualities that cannot be taught in books, cannot be explained in theories. They can only be lived. Struggle gives you perspective. It teaches you empathy. It sharpens your instincts. It builds patience, and it develops courage. Every ounce of strength you admire in others is the result of a struggle they refuse to surrender to. When you embrace struggle instead of avoiding it, you transform it into your greatest ally. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective is the moment you reclaim your power, because if you see struggle as something happening to you, you feel like a victim. But if you see struggle as something happening for you, you step into growth. Suddenly, the obstacle is not an enemy, it's a partner in your development. The pain is not meaningless, it's purposeful. The struggle is not wasted, it's invested. And that shift builds a strength that no setback can take from you. Look at history, at the people who changed the world, the ones whose names we still remember long after they're gone. Every single one of them endured struggle. They faced ridicule, rejection, resistance. They were knocked down, doubted, and dismissed, but they refused to let the struggle define them negatively. They allowed it to sharpen them, toughen them, strengthen them. They became unbreakable because they went through what would have broken others. That's the difference. Most people see struggle and quit. A few see struggle and keep moving forward. Those few become leaders, legends, and examples of what's possible. The same is true in your own life. Every struggle you face right now is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to build you. It may be financial struggle, relationship struggle, health struggle, internal struggle. Whatever form it takes, it carries within it the seeds of your strength. If you choose to fight, if you choose to endure, if you choose to learn, that struggle will make you more powerful than you've ever been. The pain you're feeling today will be the strength you stand on tomorrow. The challenges you're facing today will be the wisdom you teach from tomorrow. The battles you're fighting today will be the victories you celebrate tomorrow. Struggle is also what connects us as human beings. When you've been through something hard, you gain a deeper level of compassion for others going through their own battles. You stop judging so quickly because you know what it feels like to fight silent wars. You stop assuming life is easy for everyone else because you've lived the truth that it's not. That compassion, that depth, that empathy, those are strengths, and they are only developed through struggle. Struggle builds not only inner toughness, but also outer connection. It makes you a more grounded, more authentic, more relatable human being. So instead of seeing struggle as the enemy, see it as the builder of your strength. The weights you lift in the gym may feel heavy. They may make your muscles achy, but they are sculpting you into something stronger. In the same way, the struggles of life may feel unbearable in the moment. They may stretch you to your breaking point, but they are sculpting you into a version of yourself you wouldn't recognize otherwise. Every time you survive, every time you overcome, every time you endure, you add another layer of strength to your foundation. And that foundation will carry you through everything that lies ahead. One of the greatest lies people tell themselves is that they'll start when the time is right. They'll take action when the conditions are perfect, when they feel ready, when they have enough money, when they have enough knowledge, when the fear finally goes away. But the truth is the perfect time never comes. Life will always present another obstacle, another distraction, another reason to wait. And while people wait for everything to align, opportunities pass by, momentum fades, dreams die slowly in the background. If you want to build something extraordinary, if you want to change your life, if you want to step into your potential, you cannot afford to wait for perfect conditions. You must begin where you are with what you have, even if it feels incomplete, even if it feels uncertain, even if it feels terrifying. The myth of perfection keeps countless people stuck in the same place year after year. They say they'll start the business once they know everything about running a business. They'll get in shape once they find the right program or the right trainer. They'll pursue their passion once they feel completely confident. But confidence is not built in the waiting, it's built in the doing. Clarity doesn't come from sitting still, it comes from moving forward. Strength doesn't arrive before you begin, it develops as you take action. Waiting for the perfect conditions is nothing more than a sophisticated form of procrastination. It feels safe, it feels rational, it feels like preparation, but really it's fear disguised as logic. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who built something significant, the ones who left a mark. They didn't wait until they were ready. They started when they were uncertain, when they were unqualified, when they were scared. They leaped before they felt prepared, and it was the leap itself that made them prepared. History is filled with examples of people who achieved greatness not because conditions were ideal, but because they acted in spite of the chaos. They built in the storm, not after it. They started before they had all the answers. And that is why they succeeded, because they moved while everyone else was still waiting. Perfection is an illusion, and the pursuit of it is a trap. If you keep waiting until every detail is lined up, you'll never move, because there will always be something missing. Something uncertain, something that feels off. Life doesn't reward the ones who wait, it rewards the ones who act. Progress beats perfection every single time. A messy step forward will always create more results than a perfect plan that never leaves your head. And every messy step teaches you, shapes you, reveals something new that sitting still never could. Action produces clarity, action produces courage, action produces results. The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Readiness is not an emotion, it is a decision. You decide you're ready, and then you move. You don't wait for fear to disappear. You carry it with you into the unknown. You don't wait for all the lights to turn green before you leave your driveway. You start moving and trust the path will reveal itself as you go. That is how life works. You don't get the full map, you get the next step. And if you refuse to take that step until you see the whole path, you will stay stuck forever. Most people overestimate the risk of starting and underestimate the risk of waiting. They think waiting is safe. But the longer you wait, the more you lose. Time, energy, momentum, belief in yourself. Opportunity doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It passes by and finds someone else who is willing to act. Every moment you spend waiting for perfect conditions is a moment you could have been building strength, experience, momentum. And the truth is, the longer you wait, the harder it gets to start, because hesitation grows into habit, and habit becomes identity. Before you know it, you begin to believe that starting is no longer possible for you, that your chance has passed. But the only thing that passed was time you chose not to use. Starting now, even imperfectly, is the secret to momentum. Once you take that first step, something shifts inside you. You realize it doesn't have to be flawless, it just has to be forward. You realize you can figure things out as you go. You realize mistakes aren't final, they're feedback. And every small move builds confidence, every small win builds belief, every small effort builds traction. Suddenly, the thing that once felt impossible begins to feel inevitable, not because conditions became perfect, but because you refused to wait for them to be. Stop waiting for perfect conditions in your health. Stop telling yourself you'll start eating better after the holidays. After the vacation, after the stress dies down. The holidays will come again, the stress will come again, life will always be full of reasons to wait. The perfect time to start is now, with the imperfect choices in front of you. Stop waiting for perfect conditions in your career or business. Stop believing you need to have every detail figured out, every risk calculated, every skill mastered before you begin. Start with what you know, learn the rest along the way. Stop waiting for perfect conditions in your relationships. Stop thinking you'll show up fully when everything feels safe. Start showing up now with vulnerability, with honesty, with courage. Life is not going to pause and wait until you're comfortable. The conditions you're waiting for are not coming. What's coming are more challenges, more uncertainty, more unexpected turns. And that is not a reason to hesitate. It's a reason to move. Because if you can take action in imperfect conditions, you can take action in any conditions. That is how you build resilience. That is how you build adaptability. That is how you build strength. The people who win in life are not the ones who had the smoothest path. They are the ones who kept walking even when the path was rough. The only way to create perfect conditions is to move through imperfect ones. Action creates opportunities. Action creates resources. Action creates momentum. The conditions don't shape your action shapes the conditions. When you move, doors open. When you move, clarity comes. When you move, the right people show up, the right resources appear, the right timing unfolds. But none of that happens until you stop waiting and start doing. Resilience is not something you're born with. It's something that gets built in the hardest moments of your life. It doesn't come from everything going smoothly. It doesn't come from living without problems. It doesn't come from comfort. Resilience is forged in fire, in the heat of adversity, in the pressure of struggle, in the weight of challenges that push you to your limits. You don't discover how strong you are when life is easy. You discover it when life tests you in ways you never saw coming. Every setback, every failure, every heartbreak, every disappointment is the fire that shapes you into someone who can withstand more than you ever thought possible. And when you walk through that fire, you come out with a strength that cannot be faked, a toughness that cannot be taught, and a spirit that cannot be broken. The moments when everything feels like it's falling apart are the very moments when resilience is being built. When you think you can't handle one more thing, but you do. When you feel like you've hit rock bottom and still find a way to rise. When you've been knocked down again and again, but refuse to stay there, that's resilience. It's in those exact moments when you want to quit, when you want to give up, when the pain feels unbearable, that the fire is doing its work. The fire strips away the unnecessary. It burns off the illusions, and it leaves you with a core that is unshakable. That's why people who have walked through real struggle carry a presence about them, a quiet power, a deep strength. They've been tested by the fire, and they know they can survive it. Resilience is not built in theory. It's built in experience. You can't read about it in a book. You can't borrow it from someone else. You can't pretend you have it if you haven't been through the storms. It's built in the sleepless nights, in the unanswered prayers, in the battles nobody sees. It's built in the seasons when everything seems to be against you, when nothing goes as planned, when life feels unfair, and yet you keep going. That choice to keep moving forward when it would be easier to stop, that decision to stand tall when everything around you is crumbling, that's the exact moment resilience is being forged. Think about the strongest metals in the world. They are not strong because they were left untouched. They are strong because they were put through fire, through heat, through pressure. The process is painful, but the result is unbreakable strength. You are no different. Every painful experience is adding layers of resilience to your character. Every hardship is giving you tools that comfort never could. Every fire you've endured is shaping you into someone who can carry more, handle more, and rise higher. That is the paradox of resilience. It is born in the very things you try to avoid. The moments you dread the most are the ones that give you the strength you'll need the most. Resilience also changes the way you see yourself. When you survive something you thought would break you, your identity shifts. You no longer see yourself as fragile. You see yourself as powerful. You no longer question whether you can handle life's storms. You know you can. That self-belief is priceless because it doesn't come from empty affirmations or wishful thinking. It comes from lived experience. When you've walked through fire and lived to tell the story, nothing can take that away from you. It becomes part of who you are, part of the fabric of your being. That's why resilient people carry a confidence that feels unshakable. It's not arrogance, it's not bravado, it's the quiet certainty that comes from having already faced the worst and realizing they are still standing. Resilience is also what allows you to keep your vision alive when everything around you says it's impossible. It's what allows you to keep moving when the doors slam shut, when the people you counted on walk away, when the path seems blocked. Without resilience, you collapse under the weight of obstacles. With resilience, you see obstacles as temporary, as stepping stones, as part of the process. You learn to adapt, to adjust, to find another way. That flexibility, that refusal to quit, that ability to keep going no matter what, that's resilience. And it's only forged in fire. You cannot develop it in theory. You cannot build it in the easy seasons. It only comes when you've been through the flames and chosen not to be consumed by them. When you look back on the hardest moments of your life, you'll notice that they gave you gifts you couldn't see at the time. Maybe they gave you strength. Maybe they gave you wisdom. Maybe they gave you compassion. Maybe they gave you perspective. But they gave you something. And those gifts are the raw material of resilience. They are the reason you can face new challenges today with more courage than you had yesterday. Every fire you survive adds to your arsenal. Every storm you weather adds to your foundation. That's why resilience compounds. The more you go through, the stronger you become. The more you endure, the less afraid you are of what's ahead. Resilience is also contagious. When you refuse to quit, when you keep moving despite the fire, when you rise again and again, you inspire others to do the same. People watch you walk through your storms and they realize they can survive theirs. Your resilience becomes a source of strength for others, a reminder that it's possible, that it's worth fighting, that the fire doesn't have to destroy you. And that influence is one of the most powerful legacies you can leave. Not only you build your own strength, but you ignite strength in others. So when the fire comes, and it will, You have a choice. You can see it as the end, or you can see it as the forge. You can allow it to consume you, or you can allow it to shape you. You can run from it, or you can walk through it with the certainty that every step is building something inside you that comfort never could, because resilience is forged in fire. And the fire that feels unbearable today is shaping you into the unshakable version of yourself you will need tomorrow. There are moments in life when everything feels heavy, when nothing seems to work the way you expected, when the effort feels endless and the reward seems out of reach. These are the moments when most people throw in the towel, when they retreat, when they convince themselves that maybe it wasn't meant to be. But those moments, the ones that feel the worst, the ones that suck the most, are the exact moments that carry the most potential. Instead of running from them, you must learn to embrace them. You must learn to take the very struggle that feels unbearable and turn it into fuel for your growth, your determination, and your vision. Because the truth is, the suck never really goes away. Life will always present challenges, setbacks, discomforts, and frustrations. But the people who rise above are the ones who decide to use the suck rather than be crushed by it. When you embrace the suck, you stop fighting reality, you stop wishing things were easier, you stop waiting for everything to be smooth. You stop resenting the struggle. Instead, you lean into it and decide that if it's going to hurt, it might as well build you. That shift changes everything. Suddenly, the suck becomes a source of energy rather than exhaustion. Instead of draining you, it drives you. Instead of breaking you, it builds you. Because once you accept that the pain is part of the process, you stop wasting energy resisting it and start channeling that energy into moving forward. Every great achievement has its share of the suck. The athlete doesn't get to the top without grueling practices, injuries, setbacks, and losses. The entrepreneur doesn't build a thriving business without sleepless nights, financial struggles, rejection, and risk. The artist doesn't create masterpieces without doubt, failure, and frustration. The suck is built into the path, and the ones who win are the ones who embrace it, who understand that the discomfort is not a sign they're failing, but a sign they're on the right track. If it feels hard, it's because it matters. If it sucks, it's because you're pushing yourself beyond the limits of ordinary. Embracing the suck is about shifting your relationship with struggle. Most people see it as an enemy, something to avoid at all costs, but struggle is the raw material of transformation. It's the resistance that shapes your strength, the obstacle that unlocks your creativity, the pressure that forges your resilience. Without it, you remain untested, unshaped, unchanged, but with it, you become unstoppable. That's why the suck must be embraced as fuel. It's not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you. It's not punishment, it's power disguised as pain. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most. They weren't the times when everything was easy. They were the times when you were pushed, stretched, challenged, and tested. The suck gave you more than the smooth seasons ever did. It gave you toughness, grit, patience, and perspective. It showed you what you were really made of. And if you embrace it instead of resenting it, you begin to see that those very moments are the most valuable moments of your life. They are the ones that make you stronger, sharper, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. When you use the suck as fuel, you transform setbacks into stepping stones. Failure becomes feedback. Discomfort becomes drive. Pain becomes proof that you're in the arena, that you're fighting for something worthwhile. You stop asking, why me? And you start saying, try me. You stop seeing challenges as a reason to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to rise. That mindset shift gives you a kind of unstoppable energy, because now the very things that used to drain you become the things that motivate you. Embracing the suck also teaches you to detach from the illusion of control. Life will never go exactly as planned, and the sooner you accept that, the free you become. The setbacks, the delays, the obstacles, they're not detours, they're part of the journey. When you stop resisting them, you stop wasting time in frustration and start moving with the flow of life. You learn to adapt, to pivot, to find strength in the chaos. And that adaptability, that ability to keep moving forward, no matter how messy things get, is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. There is also an intensity that comes from embracing the suck. When you accept that things will be hard and you commit anyway, you access a deeper level of energy than you thought possible. It's like running a race and hitting the wall. You feel like you can't take another step, but when you decide to push through, something shifts inside you. You tap into reserves you didn't know you had. The same happens in life. The suck pushes you past your perceived limits, and when you embrace it, you discover strength, courage, and persistence that you never would have found otherwise. The suck is also where you find out who you really are. When everything is easy, anyone can look strong. But when things fall apart, when it hurts, When it feels impossible, that's when your true character is revealed. Do you give up or do you fight? Do you crumble or do you rise? Do you let the suck define you or do you define yourself through it? That's the test. And if you embrace it, you'll find a version of yourself that is tougher, braver, and more powerful than the one you knew before. When you embrace the suck, you also take away its power over you. The moment you stop fearing it, it stops controlling you. You begin to smile at the challenge, to welcome the struggle, to see the pain as progress. That's when you become truly dangerous, because nothing can stop someone who has decided to use everything, even suffering, as fuel. The world can throw its worst at you, and instead of breaking, you build. Instead of retreating, you rise. Instead of quitting, you keep going stronger than before.